those just tuning in, this is The Beam, and joining us now from our Lagos studio is someone who understands the science, the economics, and the politics of Nigeria's energy ecosystem. Lucky Igoyota is a geologist, a petroleum and energy consultant, and he is currently pursuing a PhD in energy economics and management at the Federal University of Petroleum Resources in Efuru. Also joining us via Zoom is Elvis Akpobi, Executive Director of the Not Too Young to Rule initiative. He will be bringing the youth perspective on nurturing the next generation of leaders towards accountability and responsibility. Gentlemen, you're welcome to The Beam.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sunes. Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's begin with you, Mr. Lucky. Let's begin at the core. What does this current NNPC shakeup tell us about Nigeria's energy governance? And from your lens, as a professional, how do we interpret this in the context of River State's political storm, and the broader Niger Delta narrative?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. Your question is a recurring question in the last 6 days when the new men in charge of our energy sector came on board. It's a new dawn, like everybody will say. The hopes are high, expectations are very high. We believe that the emergence of these top echelons in the oil and gas sector, proven technocrats, if you like, also men that have paid their dues in the oil and gas sector in the last 30 years plus, to man the NNPCL, our national oil company, is a step in the right direction, and is something that every one of us are hopeful and believing that they will deliver. So the hopes are high, if you ask me.
All right. So Niger, let's take it a step further. The Niger Delta isn't just about oil. It's about control. And then the question for me will be, do you believe that this restructuring of the NNPC, will create the new investment framework that we need, especially to bring in the young people and to reconfigure, what we truly understand when it comes to distribution of power?
Yes, if you look at the energy need of the world, you agree with me that energy is a commodity that cannot be wished away, because we need it for our everyday life, our industrialization, our technological advancement, even the AIs and all this remote stuff and this robotics. They are all going to be powered by energy. So talking about divestment, I think we should be looking at interventions from innovative thinking, because this set of guys that are going to be in charge, for how long I don't know yet, are guys that are very, 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 very resourceful. We expect them to tap into the knowledge bank of experts, especially the young generation, like some of us that are still in our mid-40s, those in their early 40s, mid-30s, in their 20s, because they have this fresh knowledge of things. The ideas are becoming newer by the day, and the oil and gas sector, the energy sector, as it were, is open for trillions of dollars to be pumped in, if not billions. Now, there was a research that was conducted some time ago, and it was very profound, that energy will be one of the major challenge of the world. You hear people talking about climate change issues, things around renewables. The Nigerian economy is largely dependent on the non-renewable, which is the fossil fuel, the crude oil we're all talking about, that we use in running our economy, we use in running our budget. 70% of our budget comes from. So it certainly needs deep and huge investment. And how do we make these investments possible? The climate needs to be investment friendly. We expect that the new management should be allowed to do the job to attract the influx of investors into the sector so that as we move on in the coming years, we should be able to divest our monies into some other ventures that can create jobs for our young people and create opportunities for Nigerians. If you take a look at what has happened in the United Arab Emirates in the last 40 years, you notice that they've divested their earnings from petroleum into tourism. Saudi is also looking in that direction. They're spending heavily in changing their ways. I understand they'll be hosting the World Cup after the next World Cup that we held in Mexico and US and Canada. Saudi is already pushing away from core oil business alone and divesting into other things that can attract and bring buoyancy into the economy. So these are things, even if you look at the last World Cup that Qatar hosted, you notice that Qatar, as an Islamic nation, have also moved away from a primary oil and energy producing nation.
Let me let you hold on there.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Lucky, just hold on there. Let me go to Mr. Elvis briefly. The Not Too Young to Rule movement has been pivotal in mobilizing Nigeria's youth, to engage politics. How does such an initiative align with the energy and environmental debates, particularly with regards to the Niger Delta and beyond, and the need for accountability in our governance?
Okay, thank you. So for me, when in Not Too Young to Lead was bettered with the value proposition to build a critical mass of young people who will not only, make policies that will better a particular generation and generation, but to also play a role in the future they want for their society. And the last 6 years has been very, very inspiring and taxing. And for me, aside petroleum, crude oil, like the mono economy we run in Nigeria, Nigerians are blessed with potentials of young people waiting to be harnessed. But if there's one thing I really say is will align with is the environmental justice system of our country, and particularly the Niger Delta. And since I was a toddler, I've been hearing about the Ogoni politics have been playing around the Ogoni cleanup and all that. The people who hold in egg seem not to be developed, and you find out that the law, like the policymakers, the lawmakers, I think our laws are not rigid towards, developing that particular region. Because if we create awareness on environmental justice, we will create awareness around accountability, young people will subscribe to that. But today, it seems as if people just, you see people, the multinationals just coming into where they feel is fresh to drill. They do their thing. They cut corners, do what they want to do, and they go back to their country. And if you come to West Niger Delta today, you find out that there's climate change and the atmosphere is very, very hot. It's heated at the moment. Mostly these are because of irregular processes of drilling crude oils and other things within the Niger Delta. So for me, I think aside subscribing to environmental justice, there should be advocacy on environmental justice. There should be advocacy on raising the next set of leaders to be more accountable, and finally on a collaboration with those that are at the end of affair in our energy sector, and raising the next set of people who wear their shoes, because nature for me are both back.
All right, I think that's a good place to take a break. We are going to be taking a break, and when we return, we'll explore the future of energy, youth participation, and the paths to, beyond oil. What more can we do? And even with the oil, what can we do to preserve it for the future? Don't go away. We'll be right back.